Hello and welcome back. This is Sherry with Heart and Soulful in the studio today. If you're joining me for the very first time, welcome. I hope if you enjoy this video, give me a thumbs up and click on subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. You can click the little bell if you want a notification. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It is just a review of some items that I have just put in my Etsy shop. And I will put the link down below to my Etsy shop and the various listings. You'll find other things there too. I also do some knitting and jewelry making, so you'll find a variety of things there. Today I wanted to share what started out to be one listing. I had a request from someone who was watching one of my very early videos where I had made a couple of different items with my Cricut that I didn't have, supplies that I didn't have. And I had mentioned then, this is probably over a year ago, I had mentioned that maybe I would make some things and have them in my Etsy shop. So I got a request for that, specifically these shipping tag reinforcement I made. So I have made a few and I want to show you what that is. And then I had a request probably a couple weeks before that for another item that I had also made for myself because I didn't know about punches and different things that made them already available out there. So I wanted to kind of share those things with you. And then what happened is it took me quite a while to put out there into the world and make the packaging and all that sort of thing. And when I did it, trying to decide how many should go into a package and that kind of thing, when I ship something this small, it's going to go into an envelope like this, which is also small. But you end up paying so much in shipping for just a little item. And so I thought I better maybe put some other things in my Etsy shop too. And then that way you save on shipping if you buy multiples or a couple of different things. So I wanted to do it that way just so that I'm not just shipping out, a tiny little package of something that weighs almost nothing. So I ended up bringing back some things that I had previously sold out of. So I'm just going to start with the thing that was requested to show you, and then I'll go through each of these new listings so that you can see what's actually in the packages. So I'm going to set that aside for just a minute. And so what I made were shipping tag reinforcements. So, you can go out and buy shipping tags, and I think I have an actual one here. And this is just an old shipping tag. And I liked this little reinforcement. You can find just the little donut hole, ones. But I liked the fact that it was a thing that kind of folded over like that. And I don't know, there's probably a die cut out there. There may be a punch out there that I'm not aware of. But back when I made this pattern, I didn't have anything like that. So I had made the pattern. And then, people see those videos and then want the little stickers. So I decided that it would be fun to make an assortment of stickers using just regular craft paper sticker. And then also some of my different rustic textures that are available in my digital kit that is rustic backgrounds. So I just I think I have 6 different patterns plus the craft paper, which gives 7 different designs. And then there are 2 sheets of each design for a total of 40 stickers of each design. And then there are 7 different ones. So this one is Rusty Screen, and you can kind of see there's verdigris and different things. So these were either scans or photos that I had taken of materials that I had, and they're all in my digital kit. But I went ahead and printed them onto sticker paper and then cut them out with my Cricut so that you have the reinforcement stickers. So there's Rusty Screen, then this is French Grain Sack. And again, there's 2 sheets of that one. And then my all-time favorite something is the burlap. So 2 sheets of burlap. And then the regular brown craft. And then, I don't know, this might be my very favorite one of these is denim. just blue denim. And then this is rusty metal. And barnwood. So you get kind of a barnwood grain. So those are the 7 different design patterns. When I packaged them, I created my label to be, my packaging to be a large tag that I actually put one of the stickers on so that you can kind of see what they look like. So that is for the shipping tags. Now, I don't know how soon I'll be restocking these. They took a very long time to do a whole sheet and cut them up and all of that. With the Cricut even, it was very time consuming. I've had to actually order new blades because my Cricut, I think, ran for days and days and days solid. So I have, I can't remember how many packages I have, a dozen or so packages that I will have in my Etsy shop. I may at some point do some that are just the craft, if anybody wants just craft and not the other patterns. And then I may add some other patterns over time. So I wanted to show you real quick, just kind of what they look like. You see they're on a sheet. So the negative space has been removed already, and I'm going to show you a fun thing that I've done with that. Just because when I didn't have that removed, I'll show you what one looks like. The craft paper, you can see, that it is die cut. But on the patterned ones, you couldn't see, what you were really working with. So I decided to go ahead and remove that. But then I'm recycling it. So they all have a score mark, and you can kind of see on the craft one again, you can kind of see that score mark. That's very helpful in finding where you want to put it on your label. So it's harder to see, obviously, in these patterns. In real life, you can kind of see the indentation of the score mark. But I've just found it helpful to get this centered, onto your tag. So if you take one off and just kind of start to bend it in the middle, it'll find that score mark itself. So you just kind of start to fold it and it'll find that crease. And that's just really helpful. So you'll take your tag, I'm just going to put it on this piece because I have it here. So you would just take and just line it up on that crease and then fold it over and stick it down. And that's it. And then use your regular hole punch. And you can kind of settle it into that hole and punch your hole. So, it's just an easy way to make a tag. For this one, I probably would maybe trim it even more, just so it's not so wide. I should have done that before, I guess. Just to get your general shape. And then just, kind of clip a corner. And then put it on the other side so that they're even. And once you've made one, if you're making a lot the same size, you can just use one as a pattern instead of trying to hold that little tiny corner. You could use this as a pattern to clip your corners. But that's just an easy way. This is just on some coffee stained cardstock. But you can, use patterned cardstock. Any sort of thing. I've even done some on, this is on a Tracy Fox label, and just added that, looks like a shipping tag. So that's one item in the shop. And then real quick, I'll show you what I did with the negative ones after you pull that off. I had these big sheets because I was printing them out onto 8.5 by 11 paper. And I thought, I don't want to waste that because it's just kind of a nice pattern. So I just stuck it on my junk mail that I had painted with my jelly plate. So I just took a bunch of these, junk mail from my scrap bin. And then that's the barnwood one and the rusty metal one and a burlap one. And then the denim. So these are all just really on trash. But they'll be fun for collage and, bases for cards, that kind of thing. This is the rusty screen one. So just, you know, playing around with that. So that kind of sidetracked me. And then I even, you know, cut those apart with some of my scrap. You know, I had the other day, I had done a video where I used my different strips of scraps to make just like little things that can get added to cards and that sort of thing. And so I made a couple. So these were just with the craft brown paper ones. And then I just did some little mark making. So they're just little embellishment things for cards or collage or whatever. Okay, so I did that. And then I thought I'd show you just a few other ones that I put onto a card. That's the rusty screen one. And then the French grain sack, burlap, and the barnwood. So it's just, you know, kind of a fun thing to add to your supplies, I guess. So these were all done also with just some of my coffee stain cardstock. And that way you can make them any size that you want. So that is the shipping tag reinforcements. Then I thought the other thing someone had asked for a few weeks before were my file folder tabs. So I had created also some tabs shaped like the top of a file folder. You could see that better. So I kind of adjusted the sizes. I had made these just for myself, and I had lots of different sizes. I ended up making 4 different sizes that are the ones I use the most. So I went ahead and just did those. And this actually is my favorite size, this small one. So I ended up doing, let's see, what do I have here? A larger one. So I ended up with 4 different sizes. So there's this one, similar shape to the little one that's kind of my favorite. So I think this one's like 2 by 2. This one's 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and then you fold them in half. So these are also scored. So when you get them, they'll just kind of look like this, and then you just kind of bend it. And I kind of left them unbent because I actually cut them on my coffee stained 110-pound cardstock. And so one side is the nice kind of parchment look. I don't know if you could see that. And then the other side has kind of this, let's see if I can get it in focus, kind of a screen pattern because I was drawing them on screens. So that way you can decide which side you like it the best, if you like that extra little pattern on there. Anyway, so I've only made them out of this so far. I could make them out of other things, but I just ended up with these 2 sizes and then 2 kind of skinnier ones. So there's these 2 narrower ones and then the kind of taller ones. So in the package, you're going to get 5 of each of these sizes, 5 of each. And then 10 of this one, because this one's the one I use the most. So I thought, you know, for little tabs on the sides of pages and things is nice. And even just to add it to a card as like a little pull thing. So you just, you know, glue it in half on there. So anyway, I thought this would be just another little fun if you don't have a Cricut. You know, I actually made this pattern myself. I couldn't really find exactly what I was looking for when I made this. So I kind of just created my own little set. So I have, I think, 16 packages of these available right now. And again, I can make more of these. I spent days doing this, so I thought I'm done for now. And I'll just see if anybody even wants those. So those are available. Then I thought along that paper line still is another pack of vintage book page. So none of these are digitals. These are all original old book page. There's, I think, 87, I want to say, pages in this one, and I'm going to show you. And then I also, this is just a little add-on that I printed on cardstock, some of the old photos that I have. So this was included in, I think, the first kit that I did too. So I have one open. Let me show you what's inside. And this one I actually added another little bonus that I'll show you here. So I kind of just went through all the books that I had. And one thing I hadn't taken apart yet was this really giant size atlas. So the pages, I think, are this size, and I don't even know what that is, but it's really big. Let me see if I have a ruler here. So let's see, that's 12 plus. So it's about 18 inches this way, 18 inches this way by 12 inches, about 12 inches this way. And then that's only half of it. You know, it's double that. So it's so big, but I really like, you know, large pieces of paper that you can fold into some fun little folios. I had watched Bohemian Crafting, and I'll see if I can find the video. She had made a really neat folio type thing out of just this kind of large atlas page. So I wanted to include this. It ended up being so big that I couldn't fit it in my cellophane envelope. So when you get it, make sure it's going to come in a bubble envelope like this. It does fit into this. It just doesn't fit into my smaller one. So make sure that when you pull out your package of goodies, that you realize this is also in there because it fits kind of tight. So that will be in this paper pack. And then I have some of my rusted ribbon or lace, a nice generous, I think it's like a couple of yards of that. And then most of these, if not all, are 2 pages attached. And this is, you know, really old. I think this was from the 1800s, History of Ireland, Catechism. And then there's some novels. These are just some smaller novels. And I was kind of down to whatever books I had enough. I did 12 kits of this. So that's all I have of these. But I liked how it was in columns. Some music, a little old music, and you can see it's really old how it was just bound. Another novel. This is from the Elocutionist, those periodicals. I finally included some of those in there. I like the variety of sizes and colors. I ended up putting, that's why there's so many pages in this set, is I ended up doing an entire signature from this gardening dictionary. So each pack gets a whole signature of that. And then a penmanship book. These pages are a little shinier and slicker, but this is some music page, and it's not really old, but it looks great if you coffee or tea stain it. So I put one of those in, and a French English sort of study book, and then another map. And these are, another French lesson book. And these I kind of liked how they're just that kind of linen-y paper, older paper, and just really nice. I don't know if you can even see that. Just nice aging on the page. This is really thick from a kid's storybook, and just how it was bound. I just love how the binding on these. So this is an old spelling book from, I think, the 1800s, that one too. And I love the color of, this is a dictionary. Sometimes dictionary pages are really thin, and this is nice and thicker, and I just really liked it's a lot darker in real life than it's showing up on camera, but it's really nice aging on that page. And then this was really old, and I think I put two folios in of this one. It's Encyclopedia of Etiquette. So it's kind of interesting when you see the way things were done. And then this is from the Etude Music Magazine. And this is from 1933. So there's one of those. And this is really old. This is kind of brittle, so some of them are maybe kind of broken by the time I've folded them. But it's an old ledger paper that has not been written on. So there's that, another nice large thing. And then these I've had in the other ones. These are just some fun vintage clothing from 1900s, early 1900s for children, women, and men. I did one of each of those. And then a couple of these large dictionary pages. These are great because if you trim them down, you can trim them down to 8.5 by 11 and you run them through your printer and print over them. It's kind of fun. And then again, that the photos. So that is in the paper pack. I won't tie this back up. And then I also did 2 more fabric packs. So they're similar but different to the 2 that I had previously sold out of. So I'll show you these unwrapped, but this is what you get. Okay, this is the first one. If I can find all the parts. Oops. So it starts out with the same quilt square, which is actually 2 quilt squares, but I thought that'd be a fun, journal cover even for a small square book. So you get one of those, and they're all a little bit different. There are, they are old, so there's some stains and some tears and some missing, I don't know if this one shows it, but some wear on the fabric. This one actually is in pretty good shape. So a little wear and tear. Then this is really old on kind of a gauzy fabric quilt square that's not quilted. So there'll be one of those. So each one is different, but they're from the same different quilts. So there's, one of these, another really old pieced quilt, 2 squares with the border. So there's one of those. Get them in the right order here. And then a couple of pieces of vintage fabric. So this is old. And in this one is a larger piece than in the other pack. So a nice amount of that. That's also a good, book cover size if you're doing journals or for slow stitching, any of that kind of crafting projects. So there's that. And this is another really old floral. And I didn't have as much of this one, so there's just, this size square of that one. Okay, so that's for the inside. And then I wrapped it in, this is again that buffalo check. So there's a piece of that. And then this is another old red plaid. Piece of that. And then a nice piece of vintage lace. And then this is, I had this in the last one too. It's just a piece of burlap that's been printed with like typewriter keys. Just added that. And then the tie is just a strip of cotton fabric that's just been torn in a strip. And let's see, like this. And then another old key. The keys are all a little bit, they're all different. They're all old and they've been put into an aging solution. So some of them are kind of rusty and verdigris, depending on what they were made of. But just a little key. And then an old playing card. I decided to tuck something else in there. So that is one pack. And then the other one is same quilt that I had in a previous pack. So 1 quilt square. And next we have from the same, actually I think one of these might be the same, or actually there might be 2 different ones. I don't remember now. Other quilts that I had. So Here's one. And then another square. Again, all different fabrics depending on, you know, they're all going to be different, but from the same 3 quilts. And then this is the same as the other kit, just a smaller piece. I was running low by the time I cut all of these, so it's kind of half the size of the other one, I think. That one. And then this is a different, again, another vintage floral fabric. And this was actually a little bit bigger than the other floral one. And so that's the inside. And then again, a piece of ticking, the beige ticking. And then another vintage piece that's kind of heavier, lighter than the ticking, but it's just a nice, another stripe. And then this one, oh, lace, same lace. A couple of these packs have the same lace as the other one, but most of this set in this design, I'll show you somewhere. I think it's this one, is a pink lace. So both of them about 30 inches, I think, of lace. So only, I think 2 of this have the white because I didn't have as much of the pink. So a couple of pieces of that. And then this is just another fabric torn strip for the tie. So I won't tie that on now. But again, a vintage key, and some of them, like I said, are verdigris. And then I also tucked, instead of a playing card, this was just a receipt that I had coffee stained. So I've kind of just stuck that in there too. So the 2 quilt packages. So all these are in my Etsy shop, and whatever quantities I have there, that's it of these items. So that and the book pages. If I do another one in the future, they'll be different. So if you have any kind of special request for the reinforcements or the tabs or anything, I can try to get to it. We'll see how that goes. It's getting to a busy time of year. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Now go make something. Bye.